Hi everyone, I'm Lauren, and today I'm going to be talking about my 2020 goals, my reading goals specifically. Since I started my channel late 2019, I can't really talk about my goals for then and if I achieved them or not, because I didn't really have any goals anyway. I obviously didn't make a video for that because it was close to the end of the year, so we're just going to talk about my 2020 goals. So first off, I will not be doing a total number of books kind of goal. I know Goodreads pushes this kind of goal, like try and read X number of books this year. I did that last year. I think I set mine to 130 or something like that, and I got to 127, so I didn't quite make that. But I don't know, it just doesn't really matter to me the number of books that I read overall, so I will not be making a numbers goal overall. So first off, this is a little bit of a looser goal, I feel like, just because I couldn't really decide on a hard number, but we'll see how this goes a little bit, I guess. In 2019, I read a very large majority fantasy books. There's nothing wrong with that. I have no qualms with basically only reading fantasy, other than a few books that happen to not be fantasy. But I would also like to explore other genres in 2020 a little bit. I'm thinking of reading 20 books outside of fantasy and see if that's an okay goal. I don't know if it is. Maybe it's a little bit too much with some of the other goals that I have in 2020, but that might be a good idea. In particular, I kind of want to try reading some more nonfiction. I wouldn't mind trying some more thriller. I wouldn't mind trying out historical fiction if I can find any that I'm interested in. I don't read a lot of romance. I mean, if there's romance that happens to be interesting, I'm open to trying a romance. It's just I haven't found any that sound good. I think I would like to try 20 full-length novels, not manga or graphic novels, proper novels, in 2020. We'll see how this goes, because it's already partway into the year. My second goal that I have, that I can't really talk about too much because it hasn't started yet, is I would like to participate in the r/fantasy book bingo again. It's a year-long readathon that takes place on r/fantasy on Reddit, and it is a set of 25 prompts lined up in a 5x5 grid, and you just read books that match those prompts. They have to be fantasy, sci-fi, or spec fic. I think horror counts as well, just as long as it can't really happen in real life, sort of thing. If I participate this year, it'll be the third time participating, and I really enjoyed it the other two times, so I would like to participate again. I can't really talk about the prompts or anything like that, though, just yet, because the bingo takes place starting on April 1st, 2020, and then ends on March 31st, 2021. So it's a little bit off. It doesn't start at the beginning of 2020. Once the prompts are announced for 2020 in April, then I'll probably make a video explaining the prompts, and what I will probably read is probably what I'll do. But you'll have to wait for that sometime early April. The last goal that I have is a very ambitious goal. So recently I put together an Excel sheet with all of the series that I have started and had not finished that I want to, that I can think of anyway. This list has around 50-something series on there, and those are just the ones that I'm caught up with. There's a few on there that I am caught up with, and I don't know when the next one's coming out, but there's at least 50-some that I could read more of, and I think there's at least 30 of those that are finished already, so I can finish them. Some of them are rereads, some of them are partial rereads, and some of them are a newer series to me. It's a wide range of fantasy. It's mostly fantasy. It includes novels, graphic novels, and manga. But I would like to reduce that list down in 2020. I am not expecting to complete every single series on that list. That is impossible, especially since some of them are ongoing, so I can't possibly finish them in 2020. But I would like to reduce that somewhat, and either by completing a bunch of series, making some progress on the really long series, or catching up to series that are ongoing. From that list, I have chosen around 20 different series that I would like to do that for. Not all of these I want to finish, but if I can get a significant chunk of the way through that series, then that is my goal, and that's what I want. I'll go over each and every series that I want to do, but I'm going to do that over voiceover, so cut to the voiceover. So first I have the only series that I actually haven't started quite yet, but I'm putting it on here because I'm definitely going to read it, and that is The Legends of the First Empire series by Michael J. Sullivan. This is a 6-book fantasy series. The 6th book isn't out quite yet, but it'll be out soon in 2020. Then I have the Queen's Thief series by Michael Whalen Turner. This is a partial reread. I've read the first book in the series, and there are 6 books total, but I want to reread the first one because it's been a while. The last book in the series is also slated to come out. I think it's coming out in October now. It used to be August, but I think it got pushed back. Then I have the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I need to read 4 books I don't remember how many total. Then the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. This one I have fully read, but I want to do a complete reread because it's been way too long since I read it, and it has 7 books in the series. Then I'm not sure what the series name is, but the Howl's Moving Castle series by Diana Wynne Jones. I've read the first book in the series, but again, it's been so long since I've read it that I want to reread it, so I have 3 books to read in this series. Then we have the His Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman. This one I have read before, but I was a younger kid when I finished it. I don't know when I initially read it, but it's been a long time. I barely remember any of it, and I do eventually want to try out his newer, different series. I don't like the Book of Dust type series, so I want to read this series first, or reread this series first. So there are 3 books that I need to read in this series. Then we have this is the first manga series on my list, and that is Assassination Classroom I forgot to write down the mangaka's name, but I think it's Yusei Matsui. So there are 21 volumes total. I have read 9, I think, so I have about 12 volumes to read. Thankfully, they're manga, so that's not too bad. Then we have the Song of the Lioness series by Tamora Pierce. I've only read the first book in this series. I may or may not reread it, but regardless, I have at least 3 books to read in this series. Then one of the biggest ones on this list, and that is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I have only read the first book in this series, and there are 14 books left for me to read if you include New Spring, which is a prequel. This is one of the ones on my list that I don't mind too much if I don't complete the whole series, but it would be nice to read at least a few of these books. Then we have the Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. This one I have the least worries in my desires to finish it in 2020, or as long as I read a few of them in 2020, then I'd be happy. It'd be nice to read around maybe 10 volumes. Then we have the Monogatari series by Nisio Oisin. This one is also another one that I don't think I'll finish in 2020 because there's at least 20 volumes that are out, I think, and each year 2 or 3 new ones come out. So preferably I want to read more volumes than are being released each year, so at least like 5. But again, if I could read more, that'd be great. Then we have the Palinor series by Alison Krogan. I recently read the first book in the series, and so I need to read 3 more books in the series. This is a partial reread. I read the first 3 volumes a long time ago, and I never read the last one, so I want to fix that with this in 2020. Then the Immortal series by Tamora Pierce, another complete reread for me. Again, it's been a long time, and there are 4 volumes in this series. Then the Higurashi series by Ryukishi07. I have finished the large bulk of this manga series, and I only have one main volume to read, plus 1 side volume that I'm not sure if I'll read or not. But either way, there's at most only 2 volumes, so I just need to read them already. Then the Giver Quartet by Louis Lowry. This one I'm not super sure if I'll like or not. I remember liking the first and second book in this series, The Giver and Gathering Blue, I think, are those 2. But I know some people really don't like some of the later ones, so I might just read the first few. I don't know. There's only 4 books in this series, so if I finish it, great. If I DNF it somewhere in there, that's also acceptable for me. Then I want to read more of the 12 Kingdoms series by Ono Fuyumi. This series, I'm not super sure what I can even read, because while the first 4 volumes, I think it's 3 or 4, have been officially released in English, those versions are super out of print, for one thing. And the other thing, there are more volumes in the series. Some of them are fan translated, some of them aren't, some of them I'm not sure the status of the fan translation. So it really depends on how much I can actually read in the series. If it's not in English, I unfortunately cannot read it. My Japanese is not that good yet. I think I can for sure read around 5 of the volumes, but again, it really depends on the translation status of those. Then I want to read more of the Murderbot Diaries series by Martha Wells. Most of these are novellas, so great, they're short. But there is a novel in the series coming out in 2020, so I would like to catch up in the series so that I can read that novel. I have read the first 2 novellas, and so I would need to read 2 more novellas, and then in 2020 I would also want to read the novel. Then I want to finish off the Book of Ember series by Jean Du Prau. This is a partial reread for me. I initially read this as a kid, teen, whatever. I read the first 3 volumes, but I did not read the final volume. So I want to reread this series into its conclusion. I recently reread the first volume, and so I would still need to read 3 more volumes to complete it. And the last series that I want to complete, and certainly not the least, is A Bride's Story by Kaoru Mori. I think I've read 7 volumes in the series. I don't know where we're at. I don't remember how many there are total right now off the top of my head. But if I counted correctly, I think there are 4 more volumes that I still need to read. 5 if a volume comes out in 2020, which they usually come out 1 a year, but I don't know because the release date has not been put up on Amazon yet. So anyway, those are all the series that I really want to focus on in 2020. So if I counted all those volumes, that would be approximately 92 novels and 16 or 17 volumes of manga. That's really unlikely that I'll finish all of these, but some of them I might DNF, and then some of them I just want to make some headway in, and if that's the case and I don't finish all of them, then, that's fine by me. I don't really care. This is just narrowing down 50 to a little bit under 20, I think, and that's pretty helpful. Anyway, hopefully back to video me. So yeah, this might be a little bit ambitious. If I counted it correctly, it's around 90 volumes of books, not including the manga, just novels. I mean, some of them are shorter and some of them are easier and some of them are more novellas, but 90 some is still a lot. And I know it's ambitious, but I do not expect to read all of those, and that would be fine. A bunch of these are only like four volumes, and they're YA maybe, or they're kids books, or they're children's books, so they shouldn't be too hard to read. So I would like to finish those ones. But for example, Wheel of Time and Monogatari and Discworld, I especially do not intend to finish those in 2020. That might be difficult. I mean, I would especially love to finish Wheel of Time, but I don't know if I can do that. But these are the series that I'm most interested in finishing, and I feel like I can make significant progress in this year. So we'll see how that goes. I'll probably do a check-in sometime in the middle of 2020 to see what progress I've made. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think of my goals, and if you have any goals for 2020, I would love to hear them. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again for another video. Bye!